Anyway, this isn't a car the likes of you should ever ride, and so you better thank me, as I will graciously accept it as a gift.
What? But you can't! That's my car!
Do I look like I give a crap? This is common knowledge.
Trouble Busters!
Hello, my name is Melody. I live together with my husband, Asher, and I work at home. I have just one concern in life. No matter how hard I try, I'm never on the same horse as Asher's older sister, Sarah. Just the other day, she sent me a message that looked like this.
Melody, dear, don't leave me on red, okay, you cute little klutz?
Yes? What's the matter?
Finally you reply. How do you reply so late even though you're an unemployed introvert?
This talk again? How many times do I have to tell you that I work a job at home?
Yeah. You don't need to lie to me about that anymore, dear. You don't need to have pride, being a dumb unemployed introvert and all.
I said I'm employed.
Shut up! Don't talk back to me when you don't even have a job. And thanks to your lazy ass, I completely forgot what I wanted to tell you. I'll text again, dumb hobo.
I guess you get the vibes that Miss Sarah doesn't approve of me in the slightest, insisting that I, someone with a home job, am, quote, an unemployed introvert. Asher has tried numerous times to correct her, but she never showed any sign of changing. And I was beside myself with frustration. But even with this concern, we as a couple have a beautiful treasure. And that is our beloved sports car. The price was quite the monster, but we worked hard to buy it. The two of us. But Sarah was like,
miles out of your league of you, jobless recluse. This is the kind of car that perky women like me should ride. And it's not something to be driven by disgusting hags like you.
The onslaught of slurs and insults. And then came one day. The trash. Just in the nick of time. Right when I was rushing to take out the trash, I suddenly heard the sound of an engine coming from the house. That familiar sound belonged to none other than our treasured sports car. What? Why's the engine on? Huh? Why are you riding our car without our permission, Sarah?
Melody, dear, I'm taking this car, okay?
Pardon? The hell do you mean? Stop! Stop at once!
I quickly got rid of the trash and took off after her, but I was too late. Sarah had driven the car somewhere, out of sight. I believe when I was hurrying out with the trash, she saw her chance, snuck inside the house, and stole the car keys. I had no idea what to do, so I just decided to text Sarah directly. Sarah, what is the meaning of this? Sarah! But no matter how many messages I sent, no response. And then the afternoon came and went, and right around evening started, she finally responded.
Oh, if it isn't Melody, the secluded derelict, how do you do? I'm now in a parking lot, taking a break from driving, so could you not disturb me, please?
The frick are you talking about? That's our car!
You're so annoying. Could you just not message me about nonsense like that?
Shut your cake hole now! Bring back our car immediately! This is our treasure as a married couple. I'm asking you, give it back!
Aw, most definitely not.
The hell?
Do you even know how worthy this car is? This isn't something a jobless hobo like you should have now, is it? An extravagant car, you see?
For the last time, I have a job.
Again with that lie? Doesn't work anymore, honey. Anyway, this isn't a car the likes of you should ever ride. And so you better thank me, as I will graciously accept it as a gift.
What? But you can't! That's my car!
Do I look like I give a crap? This is common knowledge. Well then, about time I resume my driving. See ya!
Miss Sarah, we're not done here yet! Sarah!
And then my conversation with Sarah ended. As I went panic-stricken over the whole thing, Asher came home.
I'm home! What's wrong, Melody? You look like a blueberry, for real.
Oh, Asher, honey. I told him everything, and we started to talk about what we should do. We decided on, if she doesn't come back after another day, let's go to the police. As a last resort, Asher messaged his sister numerous times asking her to bring the car back. But as one would expect, she left them all on red. It was the dead of night. As I was nodding off on the living room couch, I heard the rumble of an engine outside. The sound! It's our beautiful car! I rushed outside to see it, but there was no sign of Sarah. But in its place... Oh, what fresh hell is this? Was our car, or rather, what was pitifully left of it, countless cracks snaked across the windows, and the front of the vehicle looked as though it had suffered a head-on impact with something. If that wasn't enough, inside the car was a landful of cigarette butts, and this wreckage was nothing like our beloved. Curse that goddamn woman! Keep my anger under control. I sent Sarah a text. Miss Sarah, would you mind explaining this to me?
What now? I did what you asked, and I brought it back to your place. And you have more complaints? There's just no pleasing you, is there, you freaking shut-in?
Enough bullshit! Why is our car completely destroyed?
Oh, that? Not much damage, honey. I may have hit a telephone pole, but the car could still be driven normally, so there's no problem, is there? I'm okay, too.
Of course there's a problem! Rendering someone else's car in such an atrocious state? You stupid bitch!
The frick? You shouldn't have been even riding that piece of glory, you reclusive hermit!
Don't you dare talk back at me, Missy!
I give up. You're hopeless. In any case, I did what you asked me to do. So I'm ending everything here. Got it? I'm sleeping now. Going to bed. Good night.
What remained inside of me was a void of emptiness over our beautiful car destroyed. An unbelievable fury. This was the car that Asher and I had dedicated time and love to, and she was going to walk away without giving it a second thought? I was keeping everything at bay simply because she's my husband's sister. But I've had it. I'll never forgive that bitch. Initiate troublebusters. The next day, I took care of all that needed to be done in the morning and was working at home. That evening, Sarah contacted me.
Hey, what's all this about? Why are you on the friggin' news?
Oh, good morning, Miss Sarah. Did you sleep well? Of course you did. After such a nice drive like that. But we couldn't get a wink last night, I'll tell you what.
I don't care about that! The news! Look at the news!
The news? Ah, of course. I turned on the living room TV. A daily news program was on, and what was on screen but our blasted car, and a photo of my face. On to the next report. Miss Melody, a famed author, has recently suffered the incident involving the theft of her expensive car, and its return smashed to smithereens. Sources confirm Melody has filed a damage report. The details of the incident were quite elaborate. Ah! Seems my television debut has officially launched. But why did they use a photo of me before I lost weight, pray tell? I wanted them to use a photo of me now, thin and beautiful. I even provided them a publicity photo of me.
This isn't the time to say such bullshit! How are you this famed author? You're nothing but a reclusive hobo, right?
I've told you time and time again, Sarah. I'm not a recluse. I do the housework, and I have a job at home. I could be bragging if I say it myself, so I was silent the whole time. But I'm kind of famous for my work, you see. Well, I didn't think that my submitting a damage report to the police would be anything newsworthy. so I may have been a bit surprised. Just a smidge.
What? The police? Why would you do that?
What the frig do you think? As a result of stealing our dear car, you were responsible for an accident, and then proceeded to act like nothing happened. Anyone with common sense would see they'd go straight to the feds.
But still, we're family, honey.
That simply does not matter. I'm not so much a patient person as to remain unfazed by the destruction of a car that we, as a married couple, treasure deeply. And the cigarette butts were indeed thrown away. But soon enough, we'll find out you're the culprit, Miss Sarah. You better prepare yourself for the worst.
Wait, hang on a second. I didn't even know this would explode like this. I'm Asher's older sister, you know. Your beloved husband's sister. Come on, let's settle this together in private, okay?
Would you beg for forgiveness if things didn't go your way? If you think you'd be forgiven that quickly, you're sadly mistaken. I will never forgive you. Good day to you. Later on, through the cigarette butts, fingerprints, and hair samples, it took no time to discover she was the perpetrator. Because we, as a married couple, never retracted our damage report. Sarah was found guilty, albeit with a potential suspension of that sentence. We demanded a lot of damage compensation. The incident eventually led her parents, as well as other relatives, to cut ties with her. And because of the news, Sarah became the center for the unapproving eye of passerbys. Perhaps she couldn't handle that environment any longer. She disappeared somewhere. As a final act of compassion, we allowed the damages to be paid off in divided payments. And they are being paid indeed. Proof she's alive, I suppose. But I don't care what happens to her. And then...
Look, Melody! The newest model of Atencio! This is it!
I have a feeling something bad is gonna happen with a company of that name. How about we get a car from Apprehendi instead? With the compensation we got from Sarah, we've been talking about which car to buy next. No matter what we buy, we're going to treat this one even better than our last. Trouble busters.
You goddamn traitor! You frickin' bastard! Open this goddamn door! You're gonna regret it even more if you don't open this frickin' door now! Whoa, what the hell? If you push any harder, Doosework, the door's gonna break!
Trouble Busters!
Hi there, my name's Everett, and I'm an ordinary officeman fresh out of college. And something about my life's pretty different, and it's not in a good way, not in the slightest.
Hey, Everett, I got some more work for you to do. By tomorrow, mind.
But I still don't know how to do this kind of work very well, Mr. Director, sir. There's no way I can get all of this done by tomorrow.
Shut your loud mouth. It's your job to pipe down and get the work done with nothing but sweat, spit, and grit, ain't it? If you can't do it by tomorrow as instructed, your pay will be cut by half. Understand?
That's not fair! You have now seen a glimpse of my little slice of hell. As you can see, I work for what is a perfect example of what's called a black enterprise. It's become an axiomatic routine that I stay at work until it's time to board the last train, and on weekdays, I consider it a miracle if I get any sleep at all. But if I quit so early on in my career, it'll be nothing but a chink in the armor that is in my resume. So I muscled up the strength to keep on working this nightmarish job for at least a year. However, what a goddamn day. This can't be right. Yearly pay of $10,000. Yep, you heard right. It was right around the time that New Year updates were rolling in, and I'd realized that my pay for the entire year, with extra work included, was a mere $10,000. To put into perspective, that's about the same as a part-time convenience store clerk who works 4 hours a day at $9 an hour. In other words, it was like I wasn't even working a proper job. While I did know that the pay of this particular job wouldn't be at all good in the first place, the fact that every day was so busy, and that the year had taken a massive toll on my mental strength made me ignorant to the specific amount of money that was being deposited into my account. This is just astounding, and it made my situation so much worse. My heart, like a fragile, dead stick, cleanly broke in half. Perhaps even more cleanly than a stick. More like the tiniest twig, actually. Well, who gives a damn about that shit? In any case, I was gonna leave the Enterprise after a year. At first, the director and my own boss said all sorts of things to me, on a number of levels of nastiness. But perhaps because I was still a fresh college graduate, easily replaceable, I was able to leave the job a lot more easily than I'd thought. The meeting literally took no longer than 5 minutes. But the obvious question was what to do after I got myself out of that infernal job. Of course, I don't have much of anything at the moment, so I had to find a new job. And fast. I decided I should go to the local public employment security office. I waited, a trembling bundle of nerves, for a short while, until my number was displayed, which was almost immediately. Thank you for your cooperation.
Oh, the pleasure's all ours, sir. Thank you very much for coming to us. Now, the first item of business. Please tell me what kind of job you're looking for. Its genre, more specifically. It can be construction, office work, cooking jobs, or anything else.
What kind of job? That's honestly quite a hard question to answer. I guess I don't care what it is, as long as the pay is better than what my previous job offered.
And what was the yearly wage of your previous job, sir?
Oh, about $10,000, give or take.
Pardon me, sir, but are you a job hopper of sorts?
No, I'm not. I used to be a legitimate full-time employee.
What? Are you shitting me right now? A full-time employee, I see. You don't mean to tell me your yearly wages of $10,000 included bonuses and extra work, did you?
As far as I know, it doesn't seem to be the case. Believe me, I double and triple checked, because I was certain it was only a bad dream. But it wasn't. I don't blame the kind clerk for thinking I must have been kind of a job hopper. I mean, that kind of pay truly is unbelievable for a full-time employee. Needless to say, she was so surprised she nearly fell from her chair. And then, when she recovered, her expression slowly but surely transformed into one of malicious suspicion.
And what was the name of this workplace?
It was called Darkened Nightmares Incorporated. Catchy name if you ask me. Dark, brooding, ominous. Certainly something that stirs something within my dark fantasy-loving heart.
I see. I can now confirm your yearly wages, including bonuses and pay for extra hours, amounted to exactly $10,000. And this is unacceptable.
I agree with you 100%. That's precisely why I left that job and why I find myself here, asking for some of your help.
About this strange matter, may I ask that you leave me to it?
What? Excuse me, I don't understand what you mean.
It's nothing complicated. All I'm saying is that I do think it's time we initiate trouble busters here.
Trouble busters? I was having lots of trouble understanding her train of thoughts here, but I decided to leave everything to Miss Clayton, the kind woman helping me out. Something about her aura spewed total confidence, and that somehow reassured me that everything was going to be alright. And the very next day, since I didn't have much money, I was surviving by eating bags of instant noodles, and as I was enjoying a particularly nice one for lunch at home, someone started to pound on my door non-stop with their whole fist. In a small panic, I rushed to the door and peeked through the peephole, only to find the one and only Director Doomsworth, the very same director of my old job, and his face was redder than the reddest tomato known to mankind.
Everett, you bastard! Get out here this instant!
It being a small apartment and all, I think a conversation can easily be done through the front door, thank you very much. Sir, why must I come out? Is something the matter?
I'm here to punish you fair and square for the load of bullshit you caused us. Get the frick out of here now!
Hey, yo, punishment? But I didn't do anything, sir!
Liar! There's only one person that could have been the source of that stupid turn of events, and that bastard is you, Everett!
That stupid turn of events? What do you mean, sir?
Today, people from the Labor Standards Office showed up on our doorstep. They said that they'd heard insider information about the environment of the company, and that they'd like to hear more details.
Oh, so that's what this is all about.
I interrogated every single one of our employees, and they all told me they'd never dream of blabbing to the authorities. Which only leaves your bitch ass. The idiot who had the guts to quit his job after a single year as the only possible culprit.
Is that so? Well, I mean, it's not like I don't know what you're talking about, actually.
I frickin' knew it was you! You crackhead moron got no right to meddle with our glorious business! I'll make you pay. Mark my words!
At this point, I pretty much understood through and through what Miss Clayton did for me when she asked me to leave her with the case. And I realized that I could finally have my revenge on the company who'd done unspeakable things to me. Now I understand what Miss Clayton was talking about. It's time to put a stop to the reign of terror of that stupid enterprise. And of that diabolical director. Troublebusters, initiate! You'll excuse me, Director Doomswork, but what exactly do you mean by meddling with Gloria's business?
Do you really not get it? Do I really have to explain things to you? This is why you're at the bottom of the food chain, you lousy maggot!
I'll have you know, it's not like I went to them to complain about how bad my old job was. Even I know an employee wouldn't want to bring an entire company down to rubble and render a lot of people without jobs and salaries to survive out here.
But then, why?
After I left work, a few days later, I went to the local public employment security office to look for a good job. And so naturally, things would snowball from basic questions like what exactly I'm looking for and stuff like that to questions about my old job. Like what exactly was the work I did there and how much was I paid for that work and other stuff like that. I did what every decent civilian does and told them the truth.
Then why did the frickin' Labor Standards Office people show up out of the blue?
I suppose the person who was helping me out that day thought it was unacceptable when she'd heard my story. Wouldn't you agree, sir? She was utterly shell-shocked when she discovered my yearly wages.
But that doesn't change the fact that you're responsible for our terrible situation right now. The hell you think you're doing? Thanks to you, our reputation is completely ruined, and I'm gonna hold you responsible for the doom you brought to us all.
But you heard it here first. All I ever did was tell the kind woman the truth about my former job. I don't think that's anything worthy of any kind of punishment. It's not at all like I went to that establishment for the sole purpose of exposing that enterprise. Perish the thought, sir. Please.
But what's been done has been done. It's no excuse. I'm gonna sue you. You're gonna give me the compensation I deserve after suffering the consequences of your stupid actions.
And if you think that's gonna happen, you must have a screw loose. Because I know I didn't do anything wrong in this matter. Unless you're a deranged person who believes that people who tell the truth are demonic sociopaths.
How dare you, you goddamn bitch! You never did your job well anyway. And yet now you think you're atop the podium, looking far and wide over the sufferings of lesser men because of your selfish acts of treason, smiling all the while?
I'm not a goddamn dictator. And I never did my job well, huh? Well, of course I didn't. There's no frickin' way a college graduate would be able to do such work without ever learning the basics first. I can't tell you how many times I asked my boss to teach me how to do the work. And when did he actually teach me? Never. I was always so stressed over what I had to do. And the pay didn't make things better at all. It made my personal life really miserable. What do you expect me to do now?
A full-time employee of an enterprise finds a way to cope with it, no matter how desperate the situation seems. Don't you dare blame other people for your own lack of effort in your job.
It's literally like talking to a jellyfish. I think it's best if you go home now, Doomsworth. And if you think a little scolding and bashing will set me straight and get me to pay you, well then, you, sir, are gravely mistaken. My conscience praised me with the loudest chorus of hallelujah in my head. Boy, did I feel so good about finally standing up for myself against that tyrant. I was able to say everything I wanted to say, and Doomsworth really did go back home without anything more to say. So this victory was amazing. Mission accomplished. Well done, Everett. Or so I thought.
You goddamn traitor! You frickin' bastard! Open this goddamn door! You're gonna regret it even more if you don't open this frickin' door now!
Whoa, what the hell? If you push any harder, Doomsworth, the door's gonna break! As you would expect, the director got even more furious. He started to charge at the door and fidgeting with the knob to pry it open. It was an old door, so it was only a matter of time before it shattered. I had nowhere to run, nor did I have a good place to hide. I had no idea what he'd do to me if he caught me. It was hopeless. I knew I was going to die, but then I was blessed with a couple saviors.
Hey, you! Just what do you think you're doing?
And who the frick are you bitches?
I'm Brianna Clayton, whom Mr. Everett here came to for help in finding a new job. I found a good lawyer for him, so I thought I would stop by myself and pay my respects. only to find this nice surprise already at his door.
A lawyer, you say?
Indeed. And may I introduce Miss Simone Evans, head of Evans Law Firm downtown? Hello. I've been observing you for some time now, and I've also taken the liberty of recording some of the footage. What exactly were you doing, sir?
This is just a test to see how steady this door is. Everett here is a good friend of mine, and he asked me to help him reinforce his old door of his, you see.
Oh, yes. Did I mention that observing people is a hobby of mine? And perhaps you didn't hear what I said previously. I took the liberty of recording everything you were doing to Mr. Everett's door from start to finish.
You recorded me?
Yes, indeed. This could very well be solid evidence for attempted physical threat, you see, Mr. Doomsworth. I'm fairly certain.
What? What do you mean by physical threat, Miss Evans? I was merely handling the door with caution, you see.
Handling the door with caution, you say. I must say you're not a very good liar, Mr. Doomsworth. You're gonna regret it even more if you don't open this freaking door. Now! Do you really think, in your honest heart, that you were handling this situation with caution when you were clearly yelling at Mr. Everett with a voice loud enough for the entire block to hear? I suggest you do the human thing here, Mr. Doomsworth, and accept your defeat.
What's with that? What the hell is that stupid maniacal laugh?
In layman's terms, do you really want to pursue your useless cause and pile on your crimes, Mr. Doomsworth? If you really do understand what's going on here, get the frick out of our sight.
Of course.
Soon after, Mr. Doomsworth left with his shoulders slumped forward and his stride slow and sad apparently. And then, Miss Clayton strongly recommended I bring the enterprise to court. I listened to her and decided to go through with it, hiring Miss Evans, whom Miss Clayton had brought along with her to be my lawyer in shining armor, so to speak. The results were amazing! I won the court case with Miss Evans by my side, and I was to receive the appropriate wages, with additional bonuses and extra hours paid too. And there was a compensation for assorted things on top of that. Later on, that same company, Darkened Nightmares Incorporated, went bankrupt and disappeared from existence. It seems that as a culmination of its reputation becoming ever more infamous amidst other companies of the same business domain, and with me as the first case to go public, a bunch of other people who'd also suffered under its reign of tyranny all collectively launched lawsuits against Doomsworth and his company, demanding compensation for their mistreatment and stuff like that. But no matter. See if I care what happens to a company like that. I take back what I said earlier about never bringing a company down to rubble. The happiness and security of the employees is paramount in a company, and companies who don't offer the best for those who work for it don't deserve to exist at all. Later on, with the help of Miss Clayton, I was able to find a job that I wanted to do, and nowadays, I'm very happy with my life. Trouble busters!